You're going to write some notes down on Chapter 2, Section 3, which is subtracting rational numbers. So remember, you can pause the video if you need to pause the video to write down your notes, and then hit play when you're ready to move on. So you should copy down the title, Subtracting Rational Numbers. So we did this in the last chapter. We subtracted integers. So we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to add those decimals and those fractions to this. So you can look at this in two different ways. So you're going to add the opposites. So a reminder, so that would be like -4 minus 5. The signs are the same, so we're going to get the sum, and then we're going to take the overall sign. So you know your overall sign in the end is going to be a negative. The way your book looks at it is they take the -4, and they're going to add to that -5. So we can do that on the number line. So again, you're welcome to use your number lines, whichever works for you. So we're going to start at -4 on the number line. And I want to move 5 to the left, because that's what the negative says, is go 5 to the left. So I'm going to end up at a -9. Either way, we're doing the same thing, but maybe using a different method. So again, write this in the notebook. If you need to pause the video, pause the video. When you're ready to move on, you're going to move on. We're just giving examples now, and then we'll practice some more later. So copy down this notebook and copy down this example into your notebook. So we're going to subtract rational numbers. So notice here we have two fractions. Now you can put them as a mixed number. You don't have to, but you know the first thing that you need to do is you need to have a common denominator. So remember, the denominator is on the bottom. So I need to get that common denominator. So it looks like 6 is a common denominator. So I'm going to convert this first one by multiplying both top and bottom times 2. Notice I'm showing my work working down into my upside down triangle. So I'm going to multiply those. So I get -8 and 4/6 minus 6 and 1/6. My signs are the same. So second, I'm going to look at the signs. Here my signs are the same, so I'm going to get the sum. I'm going to add them together. So 8 and 6 gives me 14. So -14, and -4 and a -1 gives me -5/6. So it's already in simple form. It's a mixed number. But the last thing you always want to make sure is that it's a mixed number. You want to make sure it's not an improper fraction, and you want to make sure that it's in the simplest form. So make sure to copy this down into your notebook. Again, if you need to pause the video, go ahead and pause the video. So now we have another example. So here's example 2, subtracting rational numbers again. Now we're going to use decimals. So the first thing I should do is I'm going to look at the signs. I notice the signs are the same, so I'm going to get the sum. So I'm going to line these up with their decimals. And I could do like the book, and I could say plus and minus. So line up your decimals, and then just add, and then hopefully that's the correct answer. So again, copy this down into your notebook. When you're ready to move on, go ahead and move on. If you need to pause the recording, go ahead and pause. So now I have an extra example. So let's look carefully at the signs. So I always look at the signs first. I have a negative, but then I have a negative and a negative. So which means do the opposite. So when I have that negative and another negative, I want the opposite of a negative, which is a positive. So now I'm going to rewrite this the correct way. Notice my signs are different, so I'm going to look at my signs. They're different, so I'm going to subtract these two. So I'm going to make sure to put my decimal in the right spot. Okay, I need to do some stealing along the way to get the right answer. Oops, is my overall answer a negative or positive? I think it's a positive because, nope, it's a negative. because my bigger of the two numbers is a negative, therefore my overall answer is a negative. So again, copy this down into your notebook. If you need to pause the video, pause the video. Now you have a bunch of on your own problems. So you're actually going to do all 6 of these. You're going to do these in your notebook, and then there will be a place on the right hand where you're going to put all the answers for 1 through 6. So please number them. Say number 1 and give me an example. Give me the answer. Number 2, give me the answer. So go ahead and do all 6 of these and put your answers in the text box on the right. Now I need you to check your answers. So I should be able to look into your notebook and I should see that you've marked these correct or you've marked them incorrect. If you've marked them incorrect, try to figure out where you made your mistake. If not, please circle that. Put a note so that we can look at those tomorrow. So you're checking your answers and then you're moving on. So if you need to pause the video, go ahead and pause the video. Okay, now we have everyone's favorite. We have a word problem. So write this down in your notebook. You can copy it down because there's nobody waiting for you. So go ahead and take your time, write this down. So the distance between any 2 numbers on a number line is the absolute value of the difference of the numbers. Really, here's the question. Find the distance between these 2 numbers. So I'm going to draw a number line to get a visual. I'm at -3 1/4. I need to go through 0, and I need to get to +2 3/4. So I really want to find the distance between these 2, which is absolute value. I would make this negative a positive. So I know that this is to get to 0, 3 1/4, and then I know this is 2 3/4. So if I add those 2 together, what do we get? Well, 3/4 and 1/4 is 4/4. 3 plus 2 is 5. 4/4 is the same as 1, so the answer should be 6. So make sure that's in your notebook. Pause the video if you need to. Okay, so here we have a word problem. So write down example 4, word problem. So write down the facts here. You are going out on Monterey Bay, so we're going to go out on the bay with your parents' boat. When the boat is in the water, the bottom is 2.8 feet below the surface, and the top is 11.5 feet above. Okay, so we can draw a little picture, right? Here's your boat. So when you are in the water, so here you are in the water, the bottom of the boat is 2.8 feet below the surface, 2.8 feet. And the top is 11.5 feet above the surface. Okay, so how tall is your boat? We'll make it a sailboat. So we're probably going to have to add those 2 dimensions together. So we want to add 11.5 plus 2.8. So what do we get? We get 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We get 13, 2, 3, 4. So you get 14.3 feet. Okay. Can your boat fit through the tunnel at 14.3 inches? Oh, wait a second. That's inches. And that's feet. How can I convert my 0.3 feet to inches? Well, I know if I have 1 foot, I have 12 inches. Okay, so 0.3 times 12 gives me 4 inches. So my overall boat is, so if I want to go through here, I'm going in the tunnel. Let's see, does my pen draw on the picture? Oh, so my tunnel is only 14.3 inches, but me boat is, how big was my boat? 14.4 inches is my boat. I'm going to lose about 1 inch of my boat. So can my boat go through the tunnel? No, it can't go through that tunnel unless I want to lose part of my boat. So copy this down into your notebook. Again, if you need to pause, go ahead and pause. When you're ready to move on, go ahead. Okay, last 2 questions. Oops, one of them's not labeled correctly, Mrs. Miller. That should be an 8. Okay, so find the distance between -7.5 and 15.3 on a number line. If it helps, draw out your number line. Put those 2 numbers on your number line so you can see and then figure out the distance in between the 2. Okay, now you're back on your boat. What if you have a boat that's at 7 feet above the surface and 2 feet below the surface on a trailer? That is 1.4 feet above the ground. Can you fit through the tunnel in Monterey? You're going to have to do some math. So remember, your boat is sitting on a trailer. Okay? So now can your boat fit through this tunnel? Make sure you see that I have inches and this is feet. Put your answer in the text box on the right. Okay, once again, here we are. You're going to check your answers. So I should be able to see that you've corrected it and you said that, oh yeah, that's correct, or oh no, it's not. It was supposed to be this, but I don't know why. So write yourself a little side note. I need help on this one, Mrs. Miller. This one, I added them all up. Boop, boop, boop. 11.2 feet. Well, gosh, it's only 0.2 of a foot. The tunnel is 14 feet, so I have 3 feet of clearance, which is 36 inches of clearance. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow.